Hey, this is Aditya. So today I'm going to teach you about 10 interesting ways how to start coding and keep up with it. So actually these are my personal followed principles which I followed through my college years till now to actually keep up with my coding skills and be at par. So I hope you like it, and if you like it, give a thumbs up and do subscribe my channel. I'll give you an example of my journey of solving problems and learning skills side by side. So when I was in 12th class, in my 12th standard, so I was given a project in Java. So I had Java in my early 12th. So I started learning about Java and its concepts very early on. So what I did was I studied Java side by side and I started building this project. And this project was on e-commerce application. So what I did was, so I wanted to look for ways so that I can build a solution for an e-commerce application while learning my Java concept side by side. So for example, if I wanted to build a particular look or a particular feature in my e-commerce application, then I would go and find out the various ways so that I can build that feature in my application. So learning coding while building a solution for a problem is the optimal way to learn anything about a domain which you are interested in. So for example, if you're interested in Python, if you're interested in Java, if you want to build something, then you can learn all the skills related to that particular domain side by side. So this will not only save time and not only will keep you motivated, but also you will also build a solution side by side while learning a skill that is required to build that solution. In your journey to learn and develop skills related to the problem that you're building, what happens is when you're learning, so you will find a lot of problems and a lot of challenges while learning that language or building that solution or building a project. So it's a process, it takes time, and don't give up yet, and keep putting efforts and keep learning, keep researching free resources on YouTube, on the internet, and Stack Overflow is my personal favorite website, and most of these are the personal favorite website to actually look for solutions to problems that are very common, and you have those solutions very easily available on that website. So what you can do is you can learn by building a solution, and you can solve those problems side by side while googling those problems and why those problems occur, what is the reason behind that problem, and you can gradually build up a momentum while learning all these new stuff that you are building your skills to build that solution and ultimately gain a new knowledge in the domain. So I think that this is one of the best ways to get your project going on while learning side by side, and also tackling all the problems and challenges that you will be facing side by side. Take an example of any other skill. So for me, I started learning guitar when I was very young. So I started learning guitar when I was in 6th class. So learning guitar was a very difficult process. It took me around 8 to 9 years to learn how to learn any other song within 2 or 3 hours, right? So it is not about that 2 or 3 hours, but it's about those many hours that I practiced and learned about different techniques and different technical stuff about guitar, which I'm not going to discuss here because this video is about how to learn code and how to keep up with it. So I just wanted to correlate with the analogy of different skills that we learn in our day-to-day life, be it learning guitar, be it learning violin or any other instrument, or learning to do any other activity or hobby that we choose to. So I just wanted to correlate with that analogy of learning any other skill. What I'm trying to say is that while learning guitar or while learning any other song on guitar, what I personally do is I listen to a song and I like that, so I wanted to learn that to play on my guitar. So what I do is I search that song and I listen to that song and I search what chords are being used in that song. So what I'm doing is I'm training my mind to learn the song, as well as the technical things that I'm learning about guitar while learning the song. So I'm achieving two things at a time. So I'm learning about guitar while also learning about the song. So similarly, what I'm trying to convey you is that, so while learning to code, you solve a problem. While solving a problem, you develop a logical aptitude. You are building your logical muscles, which will help you to also learn the skills that are required to build that solution in a particular language, in a particular framework, or any other technology that you are willing to learn while building that project side by side. Times I see that people are talking about solving problems on HackerRank or LeetCode or Codeforces. These are really good platforms that can give you a simulation of how to really solve problems, but they are just simulations, right? You don't have to really solve those problems in reality. You won't be getting those kind of problems like building an array or finding what the data structure for that problem would be. But it's a simulation. It's a kind of simulation that will train your mind to think in a way that will help you to actually face those actual problems while you are developing that project or dealing with a particular scenario, right? So solving problems on LeetCode, especially learning about data structures, would help you to build that logical IQ or ability to actually look at the problem in a different angle, while having those weapons behind you to actually face those problems, because you need your tool, you need your skill sets to actually solve those problems, because it takes a different approach to solve those problems in day-to-day life, because everything about computing and computers is about time and space, right? So you need to actually deal with the trade-off of time and space complexity, so that algorithms, that data structures, solving those problems would help you to actually gain that ability to actually know how to trade off time and space by solving problems on LeetCode and HackerRank. So there are many other platforms as well. These were the platforms which I personally used or practiced on. So focus on competitive programming, but just not focus on competitive programming, because competitive coding is just for simulation and actually to let you know what coding or programming is about. It's just not about solving problems. It's also about creativity and imagination. You cannot just practice competitive coding and expect that I would become a great coder one day. It's just not gonna happen, because to be a good coder you need imagination and creativity, and that comes from solving different kinds of problems and just not solving those problems, because you will then train your mind only to solve the problems which are very similar to each other, right? In a similar fashion, in a similar pattern. So don't train your mind to be solving all the competitive programming. Yes, that is important, but that is not the only thing that is important. Building solutions to actual problems is important, because at the end of the day, when you are out there, you won't be getting those kind of problems that Raju had 10 watermelons and you have to put in an array, and then you have to optimize how to blah 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 blah, right? So you don't have to actually do that, right? You have to find the solutions to different set of problems that would be asked you in real time, right? So don't do that. Just keep practicing, and it's a simulation, right? It's a process, it's a simulation. Be patient, solve different types of problems, make a target of 1 month, 2 months, and keep track of your progress. So that's how you'll grow, and you'll learn how to approach different problems, and also keep building your project that I mentioned in the first point, because that is going to actually help you take those skills and actually implement them, so that your project is optimized and it's efficient in working, and you also get to know a lot of stuff while working on the project. One of the other ways to keep track of what you're learning and to retain the knowledge for the long run is to teach others what you're also learning. So if you have read the quote from the great scientist Richard Feynman, he said that teaching others would also help you to retain the knowledge that you have learned side by side. So if you are teaching something that you learned recently to anybody who is new to the subject, would also test your knowledge upon the fact that how much you have retained and how much you have gained the knowledge about that particular domain that you're teaching to the other person. So this trick would help you to retain what you have learned in the past, and if you keep doing this, if you keep teaching the stuff that you're learning to different people, then it will help you to retain as much as you can, because it helps you to revise the topics again and again. So when you go back to the concepts of any particular topic while you're teaching to another person, then you will recall what you have forgot and what you have learned. This way you can keep track of all the things that you have learned, and it will help you to retain knowledge for a longer period of time. More optimal ways to actually increase your knowledge day by day without getting any boredom is to take a friend or a buddy together and learn together. This would help you to actually stay on your learning goals, and will also have a healthy competition in between. As I said earlier, that take part in competitions. So by having a friend by side or a companion by side, you are not only having a healthy competition, but you're also having a journey together that will help you both mutually to uplift your skills together, because it will help you to have a friend by side so that you can share and discuss and teach each other about the skills or new topics that you have, or the concept that you have learned. The ways that would help you to complement your logical ability to solve more problems is to actually build your logical muscles, which I say that like every other muscle that your body has. So you have to make your logical muscles work again and again. So you can do this by playing puzzles, or you can solve Sudoku. I used to do that when I was in college. A little practice of Sudoku helps you to keep your mind going. And also what you can do is play chess. I started to play chess and learn chess. It's a difficult game, but an interesting one. So you can play a lot of chess, solve puzzles. You can play Sudoku. So that would help you to work your logical ability. Sometimes while learning a new skill, a lot of things can turn out boring. So to keep out the things interesting, you should keep out your watch on new technology that are coming out, right? And try to understand the concepts of them so that your interest is maintained in the domain, so that you don't lose out the interest. Interest is a very vital part of any journey, because that's going to help you to motivate when in the times when you don't want to do something, right? So keep out the watch on new technology and new trends in the sector domain that you're interested in. Last thing that I would recommend is to explore more and more technologies to work on, especially when you're a beginner, because when you try to explore more, you recognize that what interests you and what does not interest you, right? So if you want to go in machine learning, data science, or if you want to go into development side, if you want to go into more into networking, or if you want to go into other domains, then you should try out your hands, and you should get your hands dirty in all the domains, because that will help you to know your likes and dislikes, right? So you should always try to explore more and more. That will help you to develop more knowledge and interest in different areas than you can ever imagine.